Hey everybody, it's Teb Dromo. Welcome to the Linked Accelerator training program. This is session 1. So what to expect in this course. By the end of this, you're going to know more than 95% of all LinkedIn users. And I just made up that number to be honest, but I know that most people are on LinkedIn and they don't use it. The average user spends about 17 minutes a month on LinkedIn. So out of the 350 million users, this is your opportunity. If you learn just a few things, you're going to know so much more about LinkedIn than other people. So you're going to learn how to add the right people to your professional network. It's not about adding, you may want to add quantity over quality, but that's what we're going to figure out through this course. Do you want to have a higher quality network, or are you casting a wider net and you just want to connect with as many people as possible? You know how to engage people on LinkedIn and gain their trust quickly. This is so important because most people don't focus on building relationships and engaging. They just try to sell to you. So you can really stand out from the crowd very easily with the techniques I teach you. You're going to become an authority in your niche. I'm going to show you how to publish your content and really get your name out in front of millions of people, literally. And the perception is people think the more they see your name that you're really famous, you're really an expert in your industry, and really, in reality, all we're doing is getting your name in front of them over and over and over. So we're going to optimize your profile also, so viewers will know instantly how you can help them. And this is how I'm different than other LinkedIn coaches. I teach you how to, from a direct marketing approach, how to get people's attention and focus on them instead of focus on me. Because when LinkedIn came out, it was just a resume site. So it was all about me rather than you who would be my customer. So I turn it around, and it's always easier to sell to people when you put the focus on them instead of talking about how wonderful you are. So here's the class focus. We're going to start out creating your LinkedIn strategy. And this is where people don't really have a social media strategy, even a web strategy a lot of times. But once you create this LinkedIn strategy, you know exactly how you're going to use LinkedIn every day, so you can really get tremendous results in 15 to 30 minutes a day. Then I'm going to take you through today a tour of what's possible on LinkedIn with the new interface that just came out a couple weeks ago. I'm going to show you where everything is. A lot of features are still there, but they're in different places. A lot of features are gone, and they've added some new features. So I'm going to take you on a quick walkthrough today, and then we're going to dive deep into each section throughout this course. Next week, we're going to start building your foundation. This is optimizing your profile. So think about your website. What would happen if you built your website and it was only half finished? The homepage wasn't complete, there wasn't content, links didn't work. What perception would people come when they come to your site? What would they have of you and your business? Same thing with your LinkedIn profile. 77% of people will look at your profile now before doing business with you. So it's important that your profile is in order. Then we'll talk about building your network. Is a big network best for you? Is a small one somewhere in between? I'll show you the different options, and then you can determine based on what your LinkedIn strategy and goals are, what size network is best for you and who should be in that network. And the recognized authority, that's where we're going to have your content that you create. You just put it out there in the right places, and you can automate a lot of it. I'm going to show you how I automate mine, and also complement that with live interaction. But you can really become perceived as the industry expert. I've become known as America's leading LinkedIn coach just because I claimed that title, and I followed up by placing lots of content throughout LinkedIn. Then I'm going to teach you how to master LinkedIn search. It's like a Google search engine. LinkedIn is just a business search engine where it has every company and every professional that you want to connect with. These are the people who are going to write you checks for your business, so you need to know how to find them. And then advanced LinkedIn strategies, I leave that open and kind of find out what the class level is and what strategies they want to learn. So throughout the course, I'll be asking you what you want to learn next and what advanced strategies. And I'll show you some ninja strategies, like how I get the automatic leads every week. I get over 100 leads a week just by advanced searches that are saved. I have lots of those kind of ninja tricks too, and then how to use mobile devices to really interact with people and find more people. So the class format, we're going to post a new lesson every Friday. So I'm updating all the videos. I just did it about a month ago, but I have to change all the slides to match the new interface. And then every week I'll give you a whole weekend and a week to watch the video and implement what you learn. And then we'll have group calls the following Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern. So you can ask questions, we can go through your profiles, and whatever the lesson was that week, we can answer all your questions. And I might rotate those calls because we have one person from Italy, we have another person from Australia, so they have an opportunity to get on the live calls. But for the most part, unless I say otherwise, they'll be 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And schedule the one-on-one calls at tedprodromo.com/30. I want everyone to schedule a preliminary call with me so I can learn more about you and your business, so I can help you really focus in on what you should be learning in this LinkedIn class, and I can tailor the content to the students. Then we also have a LinkedIn group on Facebook, and I'll explain that. People interact more on Facebook. I've had LinkedIn groups, and people don't interact as much, so I created a Facebook group, tedprodromo.com/FB, like in Facebook, and that'll get you into the group. Just request an invitation or request access, and I'll grant you access to that. But that's where there's a lot of alumni from previous classes, and there's a lot of interaction there. So that's where you can ask questions between the sessions. So I created an account for you. It's called at login.dmclassroom.com, and your username is your email address. Actually, the password for this class is LinkedIn 515. So it's the LinkedIn, all lowercase, 515. And if you were in the class before, you're an alumni, you can use your previous password. And if you have trouble, you can reset your password, and it'll send you a link, and you can just create a whole new password. If you can't get in, then just let me know, and I'll set up your account. I'll reset your password manually. So once you log in, this is what you're going to see. I'm going to post the weekly LinkedIn lessons at the top on the left side. Then I'll do the LinkedIn videos is where I create shorter videos that show you a specific task. So if I to edit your professional headline, I'll do a 1-minute video or 2-minute video on that. So you don't have to scroll through a whole 1 hour or 90-minute webinar. And as the class goes along, just tell me what kind of videos you want, and I'll create them and put them in that area. And then I post the weekly group calls also in that section on the left side there at the bottom. And there's a welcome video here that kind of talks about how the website works and how the course works. So what's your LinkedIn objective? Really, what's your strategy? Why are you using LinkedIn? Obviously, we know we all have to be on there because people are looking for us now, and you have to have your professional image. But really, what's your company objective? What's your personal objective? Who am I looking for? This is a simple sales process. You boil down any kind of sale before the internet or after. Who's your ideal client? Who are you looking for? How do I find them? How do they find me? We build a relationship and we close the deal. What happens nowadays with social media and everything's so fast-paced, people skip that relationship stage. And if you've been following me for any time here, you know that's one of my pet peeves. Selling, whether it's through the internet, LinkedIn will come and go. What did we do 20 years ago before the internet? We met people in person, built a relationship, and did business and referred business to each other. So those relationships are key. So for this class, really we're going to find how do I find them, how do I get found, how do I find them, and build a relationship. That's kind of what this whole course will focus on. And like mentioned, LinkedIn is a search engine. So we're going to optimize your profile so you get found in the searches, and also how to get their attention, like from a direct marketer's perspective, get them to click on your profile to learn more about you. And then we build that relationship by you interacting with them through emails or liking, sharing, and commenting their comments on their content, or interacting in groups. So there's lots of ways you build those relationships. So treat LinkedIn, the people you meet on LinkedIn, like you're meeting them face to face. That's the biggest thing I could really tell you, the biggest nugget you're going to get from this course. Don't think of the technology. Don't be afraid of it, but think that you're standing face to face with this person. How would you act? You wouldn't start selling to them or spamming them. Just build that relationship like you're face to face. So some potential outcomes for the class: you can expand your professional network, which we all should be doing constantly. You can create a referral network. You may be looking for a job. You may want to hire new employees. You can reconnect with former coworkers. After the dot-com crash, I lost my entire professional network because before 2000, we really didn't have email address books like we had today. Not everybody was on email, or they had a business account, and we didn't have as many personal accounts. So when all these businesses went out of business, literally 500,000 people lost their jobs in Silicon Valley and thousands of companies went out of business. I had no way to reach these people. So through LinkedIn, I've reconnected with a lot of those people. And you can also use LinkedIn for competitive research. I do a lot of research on my competitors, and I show people how to look at their competitive companies, see who's following those companies, who their salespeople are connected to. So I show you how to kind of spy on your competitors and find out what's going on. And you can do lead generation through LinkedIn. It's very effective for that. It's build those relationships, get people interested, and then within your profile, you can have them do strategy sessions, call you, or download white papers. And also we can talk about building a community, starting a LinkedIn group. I'll talk about the pros and cons of that. And when you start one, really all the things you have to do to make it a successful group. Some questions to consider. Who's your ideal client? Most people really don't have a clear idea who that ideal client is. So really have to dig deep. Put as much demographic information together as you can about your ideal client. If you have 100 customers, who are your top 20? It's the old Perry Marshall 80-20 rule. Your top 20% are going to generate 80% of your revenue. So we want to focus on that top 20%. You know, how big is the company size? How many employees? Where are they located? What industry are they in? So all those things play into this because we can set up those searches on LinkedIn to find more of those kind of customers. So where do these people hang out online? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter, Instagram? Are they just on LinkedIn? So we really want to find out where they hang out and try to get in front of them in all those different places. What LinkedIn groups do they belong to? I'll show you how to look at your network's profiles and see what groups they're in. A lot of people will display the groups, and then you can join those groups and find more people like your ideal clients. Then who are your ideal clients connected with? Sometimes they show you all their connections. That's gold. When people show you who they're connected with, you can connect with those same people. And what companies do they follow? Most LinkedIn profiles, people show you that. So if they're following 20 companies, you can follow those same 20 companies if it's appropriate and learn about what they're interested in. And what are the biggest challenges? We all should know that. What are their pain points? What keeps people up at night? And how can you help solve their problems? So it's just, basic business information, but a lot of people skip past that. And when you know all this information, it's much easier to find these people on LinkedIn and help them and engage with them. So what I do, I set daily objectives. I schedule 15 to 30 minutes a day, sometimes 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, 10 or 15 minutes in the afternoon, and I create a specific objective. Because based on my LinkedIn strategy, I know one day I'm going to connect with at least 5 new people. Then I'll get off LinkedIn. Next, I'll answer 5 questions in groups the next day. I can comment, like, or share other people's content another day. Post status updates and share content. And I automate a lot of that, so I don't have to waste as much time doing that. But I complement that with a few minutes of live interaction too. So I automate a lot of stuff and I interact live. But if you really set a goal, I even set a timer some days, 15 minutes. As soon as that goes off, I turn off LinkedIn and move on to the next task. And then you want to create blog posts and articles you can share on Publisher. That's easy for me because I wrote a book or 2 books. So I've had people actually take the content and create articles and excerpts that I use as social media content. Like I said, stay focused. At the end of your scheduled time, get off LinkedIn. It's like Facebook. Close the windows when you're not actually on there engaging because it's a distraction. You see a little message pop up in your browser window. You click over there and then 20 or 30 minutes later, you're like, wow, I just wasted a bunch of time. So really stay focused. And if you have a few spare minutes in the middle of the day, like at lunch maybe, you can log on, comment, like, and share other people's content because they love that. Okay, now I'm going to take you on a quick tour. I'm not going to get into great detail about these pages because we're going to be digging deeper throughout the course on these specific sections. But I just want to show you the new LinkedIn interface and where things are and how to use it. So here's the new LinkedIn homepage. You probably have seen this by now. But at the top, everything's modular. The little boxes of information. They have the share of an update, upload a photo, publish a post. Instead of, used to be one box there. They had a paper clip and a pencil, and people didn't know what those meant. So now they have words in there. You can improve your profile. You can see who's viewed your profile, what your profile rank is, how you're trending. My whole theory is, since I've been in direct marketing so long, my whole job has been to drive traffic to websites, get more people to websites and landing pages, and convert them, to get them to read the content. So I take the same approach with LinkedIn. Your profile is like your website. The more profile views I get, the more phone calls I get, the more consultations I get, the more business I get. So there's a direct correlation between profile views and business. So that's kind of my theory, and I'm going to be preaching that throughout this whole thing. Another section they've added is like when someone in your network has new connections, they tell you and make it easy for you to reach out to them. Before you had to kind of dig for this information, but if your network is adding people, they may be people you're interested in. They can very easily connect with them now. And then we have the news feed, and then on the right side, 15 ways to keep in touch. They give you 15 at a time if you want to like, comment, or skip when people have new jobs or they have birthdays, work anniversaries. And I'll show you how effective that is. It's crazy how well that works for getting back on people's radar. So over here inside on the notifications, here I've got 6 invitations. So what I can do is I can either hover the X and say no, or I can just say yes with the check mark. And what's happened is, in the past you could just go down this list and it would just take you down through all 6. But now what happens after you click on I accepted Kevin's, it takes you to this where it says people you may know, and then there's pending invitations at the top. So you can just hover over, like I could say over Charity's picture, it'll show me the same X or check mark. So you can quickly go through, pending invitations. I usually get, anywhere from 15 to 20 a day lately of invitations to connect because I do a lot of interacting with people. I'm getting my name out there a lot. So things have really snowballed. So if you're consistent with your activity, a momentum builds, and it's amazing how well it works. So here also there's people you may know based on people I'm connecting with, data in my profile, what industry I'm in, who I'm connected with, who they're connected with, what keywords I have in there, what skills I have. LinkedIn's algorithm recommends more people. So I can just go through here and easily connect with people just by clicking the connect button. So here if I want to connect with Dean, he's a radio broadcaster, I can click just connect. Sometimes it asks you if you're a colleague or a friend, and other times it just lets you connect. It just sends the invitation without you being able to customize it. But you can't customize the invitations like you used to. Certain places it lets me. There's kind of no rhyme or reason I haven't figured out, but I know mobile devices, you can't customize the message to invite now, which my acceptance rate hasn't dropped off since I stopped customizing the messages, so I don't think that's a big factor. But sometimes it'll say, are you a friend or a colleague? And I'll say a friend, and then I'll write them a little personal note. At that point you can. And I'll just mention a reason why I want to connect. After you send one invitation, by saying they're a friend, all the other ones you click on, it doesn't prompt you for anything. It just sends the invitation. So that's kind of a good little trick to know. So here's a closer view of my profile. I can improve my profile by clicking on the improve profile link. 38 people viewed my profile, 2% profile rank. So I'm always trying to get my profile rank increasing. And then here's another way all these people in my network have new connections, and I can connect with their connections now. So here's the news feed. Here I follow The Economist because they have good content usually and it lets me like, share, or comment on that. So a lot of times I'll like it, comment on it, and share it with my network and write why I like this article, or what maybe I don't like the article, and it gets a lot of interaction, more than you'd expect. And then here Steve has another one. So they really are playing this up. It seems like every time I turn around, someone has a new connection and I can connect with them. So obviously LinkedIn wants us to connect with our second level networks. In the upper right hand corner, here you did 15 ways to keep in touch. So it'll prompt you through that, and then when you finish the 15, it'll give you 15 more. So I can just click like if I like Kevin has a new job, or I can comment. Don't just do the congrats. What I do is actually I use a program called Text Expander on a Mac, and there's a PC version equivalent of this program, but it lets me do a couple keystrokes. And I've a lot of canned messages I can just paste in there with a couple keystrokes, and then I would customize it to Kevin. I don't just send a canned message to everybody, but it lets me get a lot of, a nice short, concise paragraph or sentence or two, and then I customize it for that person. So it lets me knock out quite a few. So here's how we improve our profile. You hover over it. They started doing this a while back. So you just click on the pencil for each field and you can edit those. And you want to get your profile strength to all-star. And you do that by just filling out more information in your profile until you get to that level. And the background image is something they added last year. I highly recommend having someone create one for you. Since I've done this, it really helped me position myself as America's leading LinkedIn coach. It's just very prominent in there. So you create that image, and they tell you the size when you click on the image requirements tab there. And we have to play around with it a little bit, but I have the name of a good designer who can make one for you. It cost me $75 for mine, and it was well worth it because he actually created it so it positions perfectly on all the browsers. So here's what it looked like. You can view what my profile looks like as my connections now, and then also as the public profile. The public profile doesn't show that background image, but it does let you see what on Google, if you search for your name, you'll see what your LinkedIn profile looks like for people not logged into LinkedIn. That's a nice feature. So here, who viewed your profile? Like I said, I'm all about getting more profile views. That's my whole objective on LinkedIn. The more people view my profile, the more people read it, they sign up for free consultations, my phone rings more, people email me and connect with me. So that's really my main goal of LinkedIn right now, because it's a lead generator. Here's the who's viewed your profile chart. If you get a premium account, you get more information. It's one of the main reasons that it's good to have a premium account. There's many reasons, but that's one of them. But you see my trends, they go up and down, so I'm consistently going, and then I went on the road for 3 weeks, and you see I wasn't as active on LinkedIn. My profile views dropped off. So there's a real direct correlation. Then on the right side, it takes you what actions you've taken to get more views. Like I had 8 connections this week, and before that, it tells me all the different things I did to get more profile views. And here you see I have 3 viewers at CBS News. I've been really focusing on I'm trying to reach out to the media. CBS News, NBC, Today Show, Good Morning America. Because I want to get in front of their producers. So I've been connecting with a lot of the producers. And it's been working actually pretty well. I haven't actually got on the shows yet, but I'm interacting with them, building a relationship now. And some of the bigger shows, I'm actually mailing books to those producers with a little note saying, hey, thanks for connecting on LinkedIn. Hopefully someday you'll see me on the Today Show or Good Morning America. So here's some of the detailed stats they tell you over the last 90 days. NBC Universal, I had 6 people view my profile. A lot of times I'll just view their profile for a couple days. And a lot of times they'll reach out and connect with me. But if they don't, I'll send them an invitation to connect. I've also been connecting with a lot of realtors lately, helping them with LinkedIn. So you see a lot of my profile views there. Here I've been focused on getting LinkedIn's attention. And I've been viewing a lot of profiles for LinkedIn people and connecting with a lot of people that work at LinkedIn because they do a lot of conferences, and I would love to be one of the presenters at one of their conferences or workshops. So here's people that viewed my profile from LinkedIn. So Jamie, Lindsay, so none of these people I'm connected with. Well, Ryan I am, but what I'm going to do is connect with these people. So here I send an invitation to Jamie, and then it brings up people you may know. But you know, if the algorithm was a little more effective, it should recommend more people that worked at LinkedIn. But here it's just kind of taking random things that it thinks I should connect with. But you know, it's effective because they are somehow related to me with this industry, or if someone in my network's connected to them. I've been connecting with a lot of different media people. So Nikki is actually a graphic designer at Sinclair Broadcast Group. It's KATU channel, whatever. So I'm just trying to connect with as many media people as I can. Just become, if they need a LinkedIn expert, I'll be on their radar. So here it tells me where by location. So 69 people in New York City viewed my profile, 314 in Bay Area where I live in San Francisco. So it's really giving me lots of good information of who I'm reaching and where. So here are people in New York City area that viewed my profile. So Jamie's a financial service partner, then she was related to LinkedIn. And then, so it's lots of different information. Now, if I really played this right, a friend of mine did this once. He was going to Washington, D.C. on vacation. So he did some LinkedIn searches and connected with some people in Washington, D.C. And there was actually a conference there, and one of the speakers canceled the last minute. So they invited him to speak at the conference while he was on vacation. So he got to have a business trip, a full write-off for his vacation. So it's really good to see where people are searching for. If you're going to be going somewhere like New York in the future, start connecting with people and say, hey, you want to get together for a cup of coffee maybe? Here you can search by view by job titles, 91 consultants. So I connect with a lot of consultants, a lot of marketing people, a lot of business owners, founders, partners. So I have a lot of different little tunnels I'm building, like little sales funnels with different people. I connect with marketing people. I connect with sales executives because I want to get in and help train their salespeople. I connect with realtors because I want to help them use LinkedIn more effectively. So job titles is a good way to get your foot in the door there. And here, industries. So I'm in the marketing industry, obviously, but also I work with a lot of coaches. So they're professional training and coaching. So it really helps you see where I'm putting my message out on LinkedIn and who's responding to it. So 72 people with IT background viewed my profile, but 359 marketing and advertising because that's my main core. But it really helps you tell when the messages you're putting out, the perception you're putting out on LinkedIn, who's actually responding to it. So here's something new they added, who's viewed your posts. So as we post content on LinkedIn, they're giving us detailed information about how many views we got and who's viewing this content, which is really good because if you're trying to target sales professionals and coaches are responding, you're sending the wrong message. You're attracting the wrong audience. So this gives you great information about who's viewing your content. So here's the thing. I only got 324 views. I didn't do any promotion on this one, but 325 views, 25 likes, 13 comments, and 4 shares. And here's what's really cool. It tells you the demographics of the readers. So the top 4 industries, top 4 job titles, top locations, top sources of traffic. So marketing and advertising, because I'm connected with mostly marketing and advertising people. Then there's information technology, financial services, professional training and coaching. And I target a lot of salespeople and founders and business owners. It's interesting, 9% were tour guides. I don't know where that came from. But this is just great information. It really tells me when I'm putting this content out there, am I reaching the right audience? So here are the people, 25 people that liked it. So what I'll do is people that like my content, I'll actually send them a message. And if we're not connected, like Melissa, we're not connected, I'll view her profile and connect with her or send her a message. Say, hey, thanks for liking my post. Let's connect on LinkedIn. And 9 times out of 10, they will. Here are the people that commented. I'll definitely send them thank you messages because when people comment on your things, it just adds value to it. And I'll go back and comment on their content when they do it to reciprocate. And here's people that shared. It says we have 4, but I don't know who the 4th person was. But these are people that, I'll reach out to and thank them, because this is great when people share your content. So here's how you rank for profile views. This is how, kind of like Google Analytics, if you're familiar with that for your website. It tells you how much web traffic is, where the web traffic came from, so who really is attracted to your website and how the traffic's getting there. Same with your profile. You can do the professionals like you. It used to be 100 people. Now it says 98 people like me, but I'm in the top 4% of profile views among professionals like me. So LinkedIn's looking at my industry, my network, a lot of the different characteristics of my profile, and saying, these are professionals that are like you. So I'm number 4 here. I was number 2 a few weeks ago before I went on the long trip for 3 weeks. I dropped to number 4 because I wasn't as active, but see, these are social media type people. They're in the industry, marketing industry, so I'm pretty good. Out of 100 people or 98 people, I'm number 4, which is good. I want to get to number 1, obviously, but that's why I kind of look at what they're doing. And I can talk about that in more detail in the next session, but like Kat Ford, I know, just to briefly say, she schedules a lot of content. She puts 5 to 8 posts every hour on LinkedIn. So she's got an automated machine just pumping content constantly, and it's getting her profile views. So here, out of my connections, I have actually over 6,000 connections, but for some reason it only shows 5,153. So where I rank, and I can jump down and see where I rank in this thing. But these are people I definitely want to get to the top of this list someday. That would be tremendous. Vin Lee, Tim Ferriss, Dave Kirpin, these are big names. So here's where we post content. If you want to share an update, before that used to be just one box with the paperclip and pencil. Here now you can choose, you put on just your status update. It's like 180 characters or so. I have to count them because they change that periodically. But it's like a tweet, a little bigger than a tweet. And what I like to do is put a comment in there and link it to my website, like a blog post or a video or a webinar that I'm doing to the landing page. And I can share it with public, just my connections, or in public and Twitter. Sometimes I share it with Twitter, and sometimes I do a separate tweet. Depends what the post is about. So here you can upload a photo. That used to be the little paperclip. So if you're doing quotes from famous people or your quotes from yourself, type the quote in and also create a square banner with that same quote, because you get much more interaction that way. It definitely works much better than just text. So here's where you publish your posts. This is those full blog posts you can do now on LinkedIn that go into the publisher and hopefully get picked up by LinkedIn Pulse. Then literally thousands of people can see your content. So here's the post. It's just like a blog. If you have a WordPress blog or if you're any kind of blogging platform, you can drag images into it. You can do YouTube videos into it. You just type your content in. Here's your headline, start writing. And at the bottom now they added tags. So you can tag the different categories you want to go into. So that helps it rank better in LinkedIn. And here under the profile tab, you can actually see who's viewed your updates. It gives you statistics. Every time you do an update, it tells you how many people like, comment, and shared on it. And they used to have this, and they gave you very specific information in a nice graphical layout. Told you who is liking and sharing it, but that's gone now. This is what you see now. Your recent activity, and if people like, comment, and shared, you can hover over it and it'll tell you who it is. So it's good information because it lets you know, instead of just putting content out there and nobody reading it, if people do respond to it, you can look at other things people post. If you see something your friends post or someone in your network posts, it gets 100 shares and likes and comments. Use that same approach. So figure out what kind of headline they use to introduce it, or what kind of update, and what kind of content it is. So here's the published posts again. It's the same information that was back in the publisher, just a different layout. And here's my followers. So followers are, all of your connections are followers. And then if people see your content, they can follow you without connecting to you. So I actually have a couple hundred more people following me than my connections. It tells you seniority, industries, regions, lots of good information. So if I'm targeting a certain industry and I'm looking for, chief executive officers, I know here I'm doing pretty well because I have CXO, I have 692 people. And let me show you if you hover over these. So here, manager, 444 managers viewed my content or are following me. Marketing advertising, 1196. That's my main industry, so that makes sense. And here, San Francisco Bay Area. So I actually had a client once. They realized they had a lot of followers in Hawaii, and a lot of content was being read by people in Hawaii. So they said, well, why don't we do a workshop in Hawaii? And they did. And they got to go to Hawaii. They did a couple-day workshop, and they got to spend a week over there. It was basically turned into a business trip. See a pattern here? I like to vacation. So then here are people, you can drill down and see exactly who is your followers. These are all people that are following me, so they can be connections and or followers. So it's good if they're following me and they're not connected with me, I can just reach out, like say Christopher Eller. If he was following me but we weren't connected, then I would click on, hey Christopher, thanks for following me, let's connect. Education, recruiting, most of you won't be recruiting, and I just want to show you these new features because if you are looking to hire for your company or you have children looking to get into college, LinkedIn is really embracing that. So they call it university. So what you do if you're in high school, they're actually going after high school kids and they want them to sign up for LinkedIn and then start following colleges that they potentially want to go see. So then the colleges see, okay, this person's interested in us, so they can start marketing their university to these high school kids and vice versa. So the kids can put all of their portfolio basically in their LinkedIn profile, so the college knows he's a 4.0 student and his SAT scores were this. And so it's a really great way they're trying to really match up high school kids with colleges. And the next step is they go on to the recruiters, start recruiting kids right out of college. And then after you're in the job market, recruiters recruit you through LinkedIn. So they've set up quite a little process here. And here they tell you university rankings. Start with universities that you want to follow. So if you're in high school or you want to go back to college, start following them. Then you perfect your profile. LinkedIn walks you through this whole process. So if you have high school children, definitely they should be doing this now. It's a great way to really get the attention of colleges they want to go to. And then here, getting to your first job. And what's great is the alumni tool. I've gone over this in other classes. So I went to University of Pittsburgh. I can see where all the people from University of Pittsburgh, where they're working, what industries, where they live, where they're working. Lots of demographic information. So if I want to get into a certain company, I can find an alumni from University of Pittsburgh, connect with them, and then say, hey, I'm trying to get into the Clorox company. Can you introduce me to so-and-so? I see you work there too. So it's a great way. I mean, everybody wants to help other alumni. There's a huge bond there. So it's a great way to open a lot of doors very easily. Even if you didn't graduate with them, just because you went to the same school, there's a bond there, and they're willing to help you, and you can help them. And then here's how you can do recruiter. So we won't get into that really in this class because it's a whole nother application. So here's how you can add connections. And I'll get into this as we're building our network more. But you can actually import all your contacts, and which you should definitely do, all your business contacts that are in your address book for email. Or if you use Salesforce or other CRM tools like that, you should definitely be connecting with everybody that's in your database, because it just only makes sense. You're already connected, through your address book, so they know you. So you can easily connect with them on LinkedIn using this. And as we build our network in that module, I'll show you specifically how to do that. So here's the alumni section. Like I said, where they live, where they work, what they do, and you can easily reach out to these people. Here's the job section if you're looking for a job or you want to hire. LinkedIn is 80% of Fortune 500 companies are using LinkedIn now to recruit. Here's companies. So you want to follow companies that are in your industry or companies that you want to, if you're a consultant, you want to work for these companies and get your foot in the door. Start following those companies and you know what information they're posting on there, what kind of job openings they're having. And a lot of times if they're posting job openings, they may hire a consultant while they're looking to fill that position, if it's a hard position to fill. So there's lots of ways to use company pages. Here's the groups. We'll get into that definitely later down the road as you're building your relationships. But you can join up to 50 groups and then 50 subgroups. So if like some groups have subgroups because they've reached their maximum number. I think you can only have 1 million people. They're cutting people off there at group levels. And then you have to create subgroups. So it's a great way to really, not only you can interact with people in groups. Now I'll go into much more depth in this, but you can interact with people. You can post content in there to demonstrate your expertise. And also when you connect with a group, it expands your network exponentially. So if I join a group with 1 million people in it, the potential people that show up in my searches on advanced search expands by that group if I select those groups. So I'll show you more about that in the networking section, but it's so powerful. Definitely join groups that are not only your peer groups, but also where your target audience is going to be and where you want to connect with them. Here's LinkedIn Pulse. I'm going to show you really in the authority section how to use this, how you subscribe to your news, you create posts, you can comment, like, and share on other people's content and really get your name in front of millions of people. And here's the education section. We kind of briefly went on that, but here's the search box, and here's how you can select on the left-hand side of the search box. You can do people, jobs, companies, groups, universities, posts, and inbox. So it lets you do very specific searches or very general searches for keywords. And just like Google, people search for certain keyword phrases, and you want to appear at the top for those ones for your target market. And here you can just do a quick search. This is my first, second, and group members. So it's over 6 million now since I've added people to my network. But my first level connection, so I'm directly connected with. Their networks is my second connection. And then groups that I've membered. This is what I was saying about, you join groups. There's over 3 million people in my group searches that I reach from these searches. So it's very powerful to join those groups. I like to stay a little below 50 in case I want to join groups, because then you have to leave a group if you're at your 50 maximum. Here's the advanced search, and I'm going to do a whole module on this because this is really the key to success of finding people on LinkedIn, finding your clients. Here's your inbox. I've got, gosh, I think now yesterday I had over 500 messages. Getting more, as my network gets bigger, I'm getting more messages. Most of them I don't even bother to read. So if you ever want to reach me, don't send me a LinkedIn message because I probably won't read it. But messaging people is a very effective way actually to get in front of a lot of people. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But see, it's nice to start conversations with people. Hey, once you connect, I like to a lot of times I'll send a message to them. Thanks for connecting. Let me know how I can help you. Building those relationships. But I'm finding a lot of people are being very, very self-serving, and they're just self-promoting. And that's why I have so many unread messages. I can just scan them and say, this guy's trying to sell me something in the first sentence. So we'll go dig deep into this in the whole course, because it can be really valuable for you to send these little messages to people. You got to keep them short and sweet, and really from a standpoint of helping people, not selling. But I'll get into great detail on that. Yeah, I get a lot of times people are sending me Facebook messages now, LinkedIn messages, I got email accounts. There's just too many ways. Some people are sending me Skype messages, some people are tweeting, so it's like, it's hard. That's all I can say. So here's notifications, so I can see when people publish new posts. And you can actually unsubscribe from those posts. If people are posting a lot and you don't want to see all this, there's ways to unsubscribe for that. Because it can get overwhelming as your network gets bigger. So here's people you may know. Another way, once you've connected with these people, these are people you may know. So based on the algorithm, LinkedIn says, well, maybe you should connect with these people. A lot of times I do. So here's you can do the Sales Navigator, manage your account, manage job postings, advertising, company page. So we'll go through all these throughout the course. Here's your business services. You can post a job talents. As you see, there's there's multiple ways to access the same sections too. A lot of times they give you, different menu items that take you to the same place. Here, if you're posting jobs, here's the talent solution. So if you're a recruiter or you want to recruit for your company, you can sign up for the recruiter service. Here's advertising. I'll do a whole separate video on that. I'm actually probably going to do a whole separate course on LinkedIn advertising because it's working very well in a lot of ways. Here's LinkedIn Navigator. I used that for a few months. It's more than I need for my business, but it's a great tool if you're in sales and you're prospecting a lot. It helps you really track. You can follow companies and you can follow people. You know every time they post, so you can interact with them. So that's a very, very powerful tool, just more than I need for my business. And here's the whole demonstration of that. So here's some of the different accounts. I highly recommend you do the business account, and I pay $29 a month for it, just the basic level business, because it gives you more search functionality. It lets you connect with other people, send them messages directly through this open link network without using in-mails. That gives you a lot of features you really need. So these are different levels. So this is more for the recruiters, and these are more of this is the recruiter one. And then there's professional, so there's lots of different levels. There's job seeker premium if you're looking for a job. I never understood that when they have an annual for job seeking. If it takes you a whole year to find a job, it's not good. So then these are for sales professionals, and they keep changing these layouts and things. Just go to the basic business account, the cheapest level, and go with that. Even if you're paying, I think sometimes you have to pay $47 a month or $49 a month. Think about it. If you pay $50 a month for 12 months, it's $600. If you get one new client a year from LinkedIn, it more than pays for that. So don't think $60 or $100 a month is a lot of money. Think on the perspective of, if I get one new client from all these extra features, so if I pay $900 a month, $1,200 a year, and I get one new client's worth more than $1,200 to me, so it's well worth the investment. And then here's these are some ads I ran, just kind of show you things it can do with LinkedIn advertising, but I'll do a whole video on that for you. Here's my company page. You post updates here, you get followers. I think I have like 60 followers now. I haven't spent a lot of time trying to get a lot of followers from my company page, but I can post content there. It not only shows up to my followers, shows up in my news feed, and also shows up in Google. So that's a big benefit of posting on your company page. Here's all your settings. So you get to this through under your picture in the top right corner, you get to settings. There's your profile, communications, groups, communications. There's lots of different settings here. Here's the communications settings. So if you don't want to get a lot of emails from the groups, you can change that here. And here's the groups, frequency of your digest emails. View your groups. You can display order. Lots of different settings here. And here's your account. Like if you want to close your account or upgrade your account, customize the updates you see on your home page. So change your profile, photo and visibility, change email addresses. So let's dig in a little deeper here. So here you can turn off activity broadcast. So when you update your profile and you don't want people to see it, It doesn't, it'll blast out to your whole network on the news. You say, Ted has a new job if I change something in my profile. That can be good, but if you're doing like a lot of updates to your profile, I turn it off, and then when I make my last update, I turn it on. And then it works really well that way, much better. Who can see your activity feed? It's crazy, some of these things. Here's activity broadcasts. So let people know. I turn that off until I do that last one, like I said. Here you can see your activity feed. Everyone, your network, your connections, only you. So if you're working for a company and you're looking for a job, you can just set it to only you so your boss doesn't see all the activity you're doing on LinkedIn. This is one thing. Change what do they see when they view your profile. I want people to see my profile, my picture, and everything about me when they're viewing my profile and when I've viewed their profile. You can remain anonymous. You can be totally anonymous, or I can just say anonymous characteristics. Some people do that, but what LinkedIn does, if you limit what you're showing, they'll limit what you can see on their profile too. So it's kind of a fair trade. So you can't be totally anonymous and spy on people. But I want people to see me and let them know that I have been looking at them. Who can see your connections? A lot of times I don't care who sees my connections because I don't have competitors that would be stealing my connections. But if you're working for a big company and you're in sales, you're usually connected to your customers. So you want to hide that from people because your competitors can come look at your connections. Maybe I've worked with people that they were salespeople in the same company at this software company I worked for. And they used to be, working together, and then they both left the company. Now they're competitors. So if they're displaying their connections, they're showing their customers to each other, and they're probably connected on LinkedIn, so they could steal each other's customers. Here, who can follow your updates? Everyone or just my connections? I want everyone to follow my updates. Here's where you customize your photo. You can crop it. Viewers of this profile also viewed, so you can take that off also. That's on the sidebar. So I want to get my name out there as much as possible and also associate me with other people. Sometimes this associates me with some very high-level people in my industry. So it's like, oh, Ted hangs out with Brian Dice and Joel Comm because they show up in my profile because we're connected and we're also in the same industry. So it kind of makes you associate you with some really big names a lot of times. Here's an example of it. We've got Perry Marshall, Vivica Rosen, Josh Thomas, Brian Todd, Glenn Livingston. These are some big names in the industry that I'm in. So it makes me look good hanging out with these people. Here you can block people. And then here's the help section. Basically anonymous viewers. Like I was saying here, if you're go anonymous, they're not going to show you as much information. You want to add your Twitter account, definitely add your Twitter account to this. They used to put all the tweets on the LinkedIn newsfeed, but it got too overwhelming, so they took that off. But you can tweet from LinkedIn. WeChat, I don't use that, but you can add a WeChat account if you want. Here's how you want your display name. I want Ted Bodromo to display, not Ted P. I want everybody to know me. I'm trying to brand myself. Then your professional headline, we'll get into that in great detail in the profile section next week. I treat that as a headline, but then you put in your location. Do I want to be San Anselmo or San Francisco? San Anselmo is a very small town just north of San Francisco, so I'd rather be associated with San Francisco Bay Area because it's Silicon Valley, it's high-tech industry. And then here's how you edit your profile. This is an old background I used to use, but I've changed that now. But same thing, you just hover over the pencil, open it up, you can change those fields. And the viewing as connections. Here's the public profile I mentioned. Now, most people don't know there's two profiles. You have the one that people see on LinkedIn when they're logged into LinkedIn. Then the public profile is what shows up on Google searches, or if people aren't logged into LinkedIn or they're not connected with you yet. A lot of people don't show any of this information, but I want it all to be out there because it goes out to Google, which makes my search rankings higher for a lot of this information, and it lets people know how I can help them and about my business. So here's how you add recommendations. When people send you recommendations, you can approve them, edit them before they get posted. So here I have a recommendation. I could have said add to profile, or I could request changes. I would have shipped it back to her and just said, no, I said, could you change this? And here you go. After I accept her recommendation, I can add one to hers. And it takes you through a little wizard here. Takes you on that wizard. So your colleague, service provider, business partners. What I do a lot of times after I work with someone, I'll recommend them. Say, it was great working with Joe. He's very professional, and write the recommendation. A lot of times he'll reciprocate with a recommendation back. Here's communications. You know, how frequent do you want to get emails? Messages from other members. You can not get messages from other members if you want. Updates and news, group digests. So you can get a lot of messages through LinkedIn, so I turn off most of them, and I still get a lot of messages. So here's some examples I can do. You can get weekly digest, individual or no email. Network updates. Group digests. Some groups I don't want emails because there's a lot of activity and it's mostly spam. And some that I really want to get information about, I'll get like a weekly maybe. So here's like notifications. When people endorse me, it can send me an email. Accepted invitations, I want those. Comments on my post, I want those. And just you got to play around with this. See if you get too many messages or not. Some of them are important, some aren't. All depends on your strategy for LinkedIn. When somebody comments on my things, I like to go back and thank them. So I like to be known. Let me know when people comment. Here's the messages from other members. If you don't want invitations. So introductions, in-mail, open profile messages. That's when you're a premium member, you're in this open profile. And you can email each other directly without using in-mails, even if we're not connected. So it opens up unlimited possibilities. I've never sent an in-mail on LinkedIn because they cost $10. They come with my account, but I don't need to. Always tell people how to contact you. The best way to contact me is email me or call me. I put that right there, make it very easy for people to reach me. Who can send me invitations? Anyone. So here you can do, sometimes you have to type in people's email address, or they appear in the imported contacts list, or they only appear in your imported contacts. So these are people you're already connected with, so you're not going to grow your LinkedIn network if you block that. Sponsored in-mails, I don't want those. Those are basically, you get advertising within in-mail messages. Okay, here's our group communications. So these are groups. I can change the order, how they display. And member settings, here they are listed. Frequency of digests. We already saw that setting in the other thing. So there's multiple ways to change these settings. I'm open to receiving group invitations. Yes, if people want to invite me to their groups, I'm okay with that. Publish an update whenever I join a group. I'm okay with that. I can turn that off, but I want to let people know I'm joining groups and interacting. Here's companies I'm following. So this is, you can look at some of your connections on LinkedIn and see what companies they're following. So if they're your ideal client, start following those companies that they're following just to see why they're following them. And here's authorized external applications. These are like when you connect your Twitter account, it authorizes them to use this information. So I go through this about once every 3 to 6 months and clean it up, because a lot of times you have old apps in there you don't want really accessing your information. Don't share your data with third-party applications, or they'll be using your LinkedIn profile and your network's profile information. Here's your account settings. So advertising, you can use cookies, so I uncheck that so they don't target me. They don't use my personal information. Again, here you can change your photo, and same thing you did earlier. Updates, you can see on your homepage. If I don't want to see a lot of these, if I want to minimize what I see on my homepage, I can turn all these off. But I want to see everything for now. I'm not overwhelmed with too much information at this point. You want to do secure connection. I don't do the two-step verification. That means in addition to your password, there's a verification code. So I have that turned off. Here's email addresses. I realized I had a bunch of email addresses in here. I had to clean those out. Change your password here. This is pretty cool. It's cool and it's not. You can request a data archive, and it sends you everything you've ever done on LinkedIn since you've been a member. And it's like this huge bunch of Excel spreadsheets, actually. The big value I see out of it is it gives me the name, address, email address of each connection I have on LinkedIn. So I have over 6,000 connections now. It gives me a database of all my connections in Excel spreadsheets. So I can import that into like a CRM, and it gives me complete mailing information, their email addresses, so I can reach out to these people or call them even, has their phone numbers. Whatever's in their profile comes into this archive. And if you want to close your account. So your homework, you want to identify your ideal client. So I have a worksheet that helps you do that. It's in the members area. Determine your LinkedIn objective. Review your competitor's profile and watch how they use LinkedIn and other social media to promote their business. Join groups your competitors are active in. Join groups where ideal clients hang out. Start interacting with them. See who your competitors are connected to. If they let you see those connections, start connecting with people they're connected with. And just get familiar with the new LinkedIn interface. And that's really it. The next lesson, we're going to start building your foundation. So we're going to go through your profile in detail and optimize it so you show up for certain keywords. So that's why you really need to know who your ideal clients are and what their biggest problems are, because they're going to be searching for certain terms. So that's what we'll be talking about next week. That's it. That was a really long session. Sorry about the length, but it's lots of information to help you get started. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks again, everybody.